now, the Nile flows downward to the north. Here, the pace is tranquil and most beautiful. The people here are, as Dr. Ben himself would say, burnt of skin. On the afternoon of our arrival on a sailboat called a felucca, Dr. Ben unfolded the story of the ancient civilizations of the Nile.
According to a great high priest of ancient Egypt by the name of Hunefer, H-U-N-E-F-E-R, he wrote a papyrus. It's known as the Papyrus of Hunefer, the paper of Hunefer. He said, "We came from the beginning of the Nile, where God happy dwells, at the foothill of the mountain of the moon." The mountain of the moon, there are two places in Egypt, in Africa, named Mountain of the Moon. One is between Ethiopia or Kenya and Tanganyika, called Kilimanjaro, means Mountain of the Moon. The other is in Uganda, Rwenzori. It also means Mountain of the Moon. So when you look at it, there's two bodies of water that make up the Nile here. The Nile came down as a body of water from Ethiopia called the Blue Nile. The White Nile is a body of water from Uganda. Both of these bodies of waters meet in Khartoum in Sudan. They continue from further north from the south, and they meet another body of water out of the Ethiopian highland, and that's called the Atbara River. And in Atbara, Sudan, those other two bodies meet. Therefore, from then on to here and to the Mediterranean, which was called the Great Sea, that body of water, the Nile, has been the one that played the highway for a major civilization that started in Central East Africa and reached its zenith in this land.
And so you're saying then that the people of Central Africa migrated north up along this river?
Yes, I'm saying that the original high culture, where the people first start to make scratches, symbols, writing down, hieratic and so forth, finally develop into alphabetical presentations, mathematical signs, religious signs and symbols and so forth. They actually had their beginning in Central East Africa.
All right, so there were several thousand years that encompassed this dynastic period that preceded the birth of Christ.
If you deal with Manetho's figure, it would be from 4100 BC.
4,000 years.
Yes, and to 30. Now, if you deal with other figures like Mariette, Budge, Maspero, and others, they got varying period or varying dates for the beginning of the dynastic period.
All right, now this is a long period of time. There were several kings or pharaohs and queens. A lot happened in this period. There were wars. If someone wanted to get an overview of what was the most significant periods in this 4,000 odd year period, what would you point to? What kings were the most significant, or pharaohs? What queens were the most important?
In reality, that's very hard to do. However, since we all have opinions, the 18th dynasty would consider to be the one with the most action. However, I would have to say the first dynasty, in that brought into effect all that happened after that. What happened is this southern man, the country was divided into two, the north and the south. This man in the south, Nama, a king, organized his other vassals, other small kings, against the men in the north to have a unity, a man called Scorpion. They met in a battle for unity. Either the south was going to control the north, or the north was going to control the south, and they met at a place called Memnefa, to they call Memphis. The war was fought there, and the men from the south, Nama, won. He took his concept of the deity, God, Ra, against the man who lost his concept of the deity, Amen. You would think that he would put Ra in front since he's the one that won, but no. He was wise. Psychologically, he said, no, I wouldn't change. He let the god of the north be the first to be mentioned, and thus he made one god out of two, Amen, Ra. So the people in the north said this must be a good man. He let our God be the first to be mentioned.
And all of this was devised in a place called Memphis.
Memnefer or Memphis.
Now, if we